friends, welcome to the very first episode of The Perfections of Imperfection, where we learn to embrace the flaws and discover the beauty. As said in my introductory video, this is a 12-part series of chapters narrating my life, experiences as a young man living in a flawed world filled with its own complexities, myself being marred with imperfections, but through the grace of God is made whole and complete, lacking nothing. This series will speak of how our imperfections as human beings can shepherd us to a place where we complement each other in ways that ultimately enrich our collective lives. We live in an imperfect world filled with imperfect people, living imperfect lives, reminding us that we were never made to be perfect, at least not in this life. This episode's topic is broken but beautiful. What is grace? Grace is the free, unmerited favor of God that is shown to us as people, providing the well-needed forgiveness and the salvation that can never be earned. Grace, my friends, is an insurance plan I, Malcolm, happily signed up for on May 6, 2006 in an aluminum drum filled with H2O and a dash of chlorine. This insurance plan I speak of never expires, nor has the possibility of being lapsed for non-payment. Jesus paid it all. The plan of grace comes with full coverage and zero copays, no unnecessarily stressful blood tests, no feeling like you're paying for your own death, because in this coverage, you're getting life after death. No auto pay needed, so keep your CVV, please and thank you. All in all, a plan you can never afford, but ironically is free to everyone that believes in the J, the E, the S, the U, and the S. Jeremiah 29:11 tells us, "For I know the thoughts that I think toward you, saith the Lord, thoughts of peace and not of evil, and to give you and I an expected end." The Japanese concept for a broken vase centers on Kintsugi, the art of repairing fractured pottery with gold-dusted lacquer, treating the breakage and repair as part of the object's unique history, not something to hide, embodying the philosophy of Wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection and transience, and symbolizing resilience, healing, and the acceptance of life's flaws, which we all have. Instead of discarding a broken item, Kintsugi highlights the cracks, making the mended piece more beautiful and valuable. There are some key principles that we can take from this. Kintsugi, which means golden joinery. The technique of joining broken ceramic pieces with lacquer mixed with gold, silver, or platinum powder, making the repair lines prominent so it is seen. Wabi-sabi, the broader aesthetic philosophy that appreciates imperfection, simplicity, and the transient nature of things, finding beauty in flaws and irregularities. Motanai, a sense of regret over waste, encouraging the repair and reuse of items rather than discarding them. Mushin, a state of mind accepting change and fate, where the Kintsugi helps one find peace with life's inevitable breaks and transformation. Let me read that again. A state of mind accepting change and fate, where Kintsugi helps one find peace with life's inevitable breaks and transformations. Inevitable means that It's gonna happen. Life is gonna break us. Transformations are gonna come. But we have to remain strong. We have to learn to embrace our flaws, which means that the repair highlights the damage, symbolizing that flaws and scars are not shameful, but integral to a unique story and identity. Resilience and healing. It serves as a metaphor for personal healing, showing that overcoming hardship can make one stronger and more beautiful, not despite the wounds, but because of them. The golden seals become a testament to the object's lives, crisis and renewal, adding to its character and value. Friends, it's my brokenness, it's your brokenness. It's the father that prays daily for God to provide for his family, while he works 3 jobs and still cannot see his way out at the end of every month. It's the mother that hopes in the truth of God that she serves, that never leaves and never forsakes her and her children in the midst of her feeling alone and tired and stressed. It's the child that seeks the truth of who they are in Christ while battling the lies of the enemy. It's the young man that struggles with sin on a daily but cries out to Jesus in the night. It's the young woman who aims so fervently to be a virtuous woman of God but falls so easily to temptation. It's all of us, my friends, in our brokenness that will be refined through pure gold and made complete through our faith in Jesus Christ and the love of God. Perfect imperfections. We live in an imperfect world, filled with imperfect people, exposing us all to imperfect conditions, being in imperfect relationships, having made and still making and will continue to make imperfect decisions, making imperfect choices, living under imperfect governments. God knows we have many. Experiencing imperfect emotions, giving and getting imperfect communications, my least favorite. Being a part of imperfect organizations, whether it be your job, your school, your family, your church. Heaven knows we, the church, are not immune to imperfections. All in all, imperfect lives, living in imperfect days, filled with imperfect moments. The person reading this, along with the person listening, are both imperfect beings. However, there is good news. You and I were never made to be perfect, at least not in this life. What a mammoth task that would be. Our imperfections are meant to be used as a tool to bless us or for us to be blessed by someone else. Imagine if you and I were perfect. Let's imagine. Imagine if you and I were perfect, living in a perfect world. Just for a second. Second is over. Moving right along. Because why take on that stress? When we all get to heaven, what a day of rejoicing that will be. But we're not there yet. When we see ourselves as imperfect and in need of saving, then and only then can He save us. When we see our lives as imperfect canvases, then and only then can we experience true grace that can and will paint a perfect picture on those imperfect canvases of our lives. When we see that we're indeed imperfect beings born and shaped in iniquity, then and only then can He fit Himself into our imperfect lives. He wants to come into the grooves, the dents, the fragments and the shards, the broken pieces and tattered garbs that make up the fabric of our lives. Your misfits, my friend, are His favorite habitat. Just let Him in, because He's a gentleman and will never force himself into your space. This guy is not in the business of adding drama. Quite contrary, he will, however, take it away once you open up to him. He's the only friend that you will never need to split an Uber with. Driver, Jesus paid it all. And the only friend that won't chide you for not going to church after getting that job that he blessed you with. Nor will he stop speaking to you for telling that little white lie that you know full well will damage that person's character. And I leave you with this. My story, their canvases. I have seen God use me in so many ways, friends. In ways that sometimes are at my very lowest. A few years ago, when my brother passed away, by way of God's leading and inspiration, I did a 40-day challenge. For this challenge, I was tasked with sending out motivational videos every single day for 40 days with a specific topic that he would have given me. All these videos are still on my Instagram if you want to go and check. That was probably the hardest and most rewarding time of my life. My almost 30 years of living, I've never had to do something so hard. To motivate someone when you are crying and dying on the inside. To record a video while tears run down your face and then having to stop and record again. After the release some days, to have sat in my car shaking in grief and anger, asking God, why? To wake up without a reason to live, but still press on in sending out waves of inspiration so someone out there could be blessed by what God placed inside of me to share. And I tell you this, that this took a strength I never knew I had. A trust I found in God in the midst of despair and anguish, painful days, and a grace that kept me every minute of every single day, knowing that because I am loved by him, I will be okay, and you, my friends, will be okay. So I sit here to tell you that there is beauty in your brokenness, if and only when we allow him to refine our lives through his grace. If I were to tell my story, it would not be as impactful as hearing it from that lady who could not send her children to school, but was able to, through her being blessed by me being obedient as a servant of God. Or the young man who, through an envisioned purpose of God, through positive mentorship, no longer sees himself as failure, but a uniquely talented individual who can achieve anything he sets his mind and his heart to believe. I am just a vessel, a broken one, with imperfect pieces, being put together piece by piece, lined with gold and grace, here to grow with you as you grow with me. With that being said, please remember, a man's life is not painted by the strokes of his own brush, but by the myriads of canvases touched by his paint. Thank you for tuning into my first episode, and I hope you were blessed. I hope something comes from this that will impact your life. And I look forward to sharing the next 11 episodes with you as we embrace our flaws and discover the beauty. Take care, one love, and God bless. So many different avenues that have aligned me today.
She goes, oh no, I told you.
Another episode, sorry, was